Hey everybody, welcome back to One on RV. On this week's episode, we're going to talk about fixing these RV blinds. Real quick before we get started, make sure to hit that subscribe button and click the little notification bell if you want to learn more and make less mistakes while RVing. As you can see behind me, we already got an issue over here. So this is the fourth time I've had this type of RV blind break. So far it hasn't been any of the two same ones. In a previous video I did a very short snippet of how I fixed them, but it really wasn't in depth. So I wanted to make this video because this seems to be a pretty common problem. My RV is 7 years old, so I'm not sure if it has to do with 7-year-old strings or 7 years of use, but that really depends on how many times these things are going up and down. So I just want to make a more in-depth video and show you guys how to fix these. This is the other one that's broken. As you can see, no string going through here, but there is a string going through here. Now this one obviously has 4 going all the way across it, and this one right over here is one that came out. So I'm going to show you how to fix both this type of issue. It's the same exact issue where the string snapped, and I'll show you how to restring them, and it's really a pretty simple process. Just if you're wondering, can I do this? This is the first time I've done something like this. Just take a picture or take multiple pictures as you go along to make sure that you reroute the strings the proper way, and I'll show you what that looks like here in a second. So to fix these blinds, it's actually a pretty simple process. We're going to start by taking off the actual valance that goes around it. Every RV is going to be a little bit different. Mine have little screws in the corners and then up in the top going up. So we're going to go and remove those screws. That's all there is to that. Now I got this window valance down. Let's get the blinds down. The blinds are a pretty similar thing. You have the screws in the 2 corners that hold the string down, and you have 2 screws going in the top that hold it up against the slide. Okay, now that we have the blind off, I'm going to lay this out on the floor and show you guys how this string process works. But here's basically how this works. So we're going to take out these little end caps. Okay, we're going to take them out of the middle one. We're going to take them out of the bottom ones. Okay. Now what happens is these strings, okay, this string in particular comes across here, up through this channel, and up all the way. And then it connects in here through a spring to the other string that comes down, across, and back out. So right now, as I pull, this string comes in. This is the same string that comes across. So my string on this side is what broke, so I know that it's this string that goes across like this. So the best thing I can do is try and figure out where that string is at, which I think is in this channel. So I'm going to separate the blinds here. And now I've found the end of my string. I'm going to pull this all the way through, because what I'm going to do, and the proper thing to do is to go get new string and just restring these things completely. But what I'm going to do is just tie a knot in it and call it a patch for now until I can find these or go to a blind store and actually get these. So these are going to get restrung all the way through here, but I want to first find the other end of this. Okay. Which here it is up here. Like I said, it's attached to a spring inside here. So now I'm going to restring this all the way through and then retie this thing off back up in here. So my end here is just a little bit too frail to go back through, so I'm just going to snip this so it's nice and tight. Actually, maybe I can just spin it. Get it to go through here. Here we are. So now what we can do is just kind of pinch these together. Got some ducks outside. I can just do a nice little stack all at once. Just repeat the process. Okay, so now that I got this strung all the way back through, I can go ahead and just get this tied in a nice tiny little knot. And that should really do it for me. So I'm going to go ahead now, put these end caps back in. Alright, now these are all back together, we're going to go ahead and mount them back up on the wall. I know the blinds kind of look a little bit crazy, but it's just because the strings are a little off. Just get everything mounted. We can make adjustments at the end. We just want to get all these nice and mounted. Alright, now these are nice and mounted in here. You can adjust the tension of them by putting more or less string through here. See how there's just a little bit hanging out on both of these, and that's it. That's all there is to it. Now we're going to go ahead and pop the balance back on here. Ta-da! 2 more screws. That's it. That's how you restring one of these blinds. Now I'm going to also show you on this other one. Not going to talk about it as in depth, but on this one there are 4 strings, so I'll at least show you how that process works. So just as before, the first thing we have to do is take this balance off. So this one almost tricked me. Because it's going up into the cabinet, there's space up above here. There wasn't any screws, so I was kind of struggling to find them. They're tucked in on the side here. So you just got to find your screws for your particular window treatment. Again, same thing as before. Now that that's off, we can go ahead and remove these bottom screws. So just to let you guys know, I have a little issue. Let me show you what's going on. So the screw is off set a little bit. As you can see, it looks like the whole thing is kind of shifted. So I got to try and pull this over this way to get that screw out. This screw is just in a really horrible spot. I'm done messing around. Time to get the big guns. Now that I got that done, we can go ahead and talk about how to restring these that have 4 strings. First things first, I'm going to take out the end caps again, just to relieve anything. So these ones, for some reason these ones don't have end caps in the middle, not sure why. And I took the end caps off while these were up there. So now these can slide out. So by the way, here's my other string that I have. So we're going to have to completely undo this bottom one. Let's get this out of the way. Now the way these work, I have 2 strings coming from this side and 2 strings coming from this side. They do the same kind of crisscross pattern, but what happens is, let's see if you guys can see this. On this the first 2 strings that come over here, one goes in the middle and one goes all the way to the end. So this opposite one does the exact opposite. One goes right here in the middle, the other one goes all the way to the end. Then they're going to go through this layer, right? Once they come through here, it's going to come back across this way. This one comes back across this way. This one comes up and then over through the middle. And then the one that I'm missing, right here, I have to restring through the outside, over, and up the middle. So that's what we're going to do. As you can see, this is technically a pretty simple process. It's just a little bit tedious to rethread it. Now obviously, again, the best thing to do is go and get brand new thread to redo all this stuff. But I just haven't had time to go to a blind store because I know that's where you can buy it. And I just don't want to buy it on Amazon because I feel like I'm going to buy the wrong thing. So if you could, just bring some of this string with you to a blind store and they should be able to find you the right type of string, the right color that's for your blinds. I just haven't had a chance to do that, so that's why I'm just putting this Band-Aid on it for now. So now we've made it all the way through the top. I can make my little knot on this thing. Again, is this the best way to do it? Probably not, but at least it's a quick Band-Aid and I can get my blinds back up and not drive myself crazy with crooked blinds. What I'm trying to accomplish right now is to get these strings in the way, or out of the way, so I can get this channel fed through. Alright, now I got all these back on. I can pop this back in here. Well, I just noticed something that I kind of messed up. When this string came undone, right here, this is the one that I had to rethread. It came all the way out the channel, out this thing. I didn't rethread it through. So what I'm going to do is, I think there's a way for me to just untie this knot, take them through, and rethread it. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Okay, now that I got this knot out, these little things are just pinched in to kind of hold it in place. So I'm just going to carefully pull it out, thread it through, thread it right on back. So now what I'm going to try and do is get this back, I'm going to crimp it back to where it was, but this is where you can make some good adjustments. You got all this excess string that was hanging out the other side, whereas on my other one that I showed you earlier, it only had a very tiny little amount. And because of the knot that I put in it, I basically just lost a good chunk of that string. So I think I'm actually going to not crimp this down all the way yet, or I'm going to crimp it, I'm just not going to tie it, and get these up on the wall and then make this adjustment real quick so you can see what that looks like. So I'm going to press this back down to crimp it in place a little bit, just so it doesn't go anywhere. And then when we get it on the wall, we're going to make some adjustments to this string. So I want to bring you guys in here so I can show you what we're doing. Okay, so we want this to be nice and taut, but not overly tight. So right now, as I pull this, with the amount of string to where the screw goes, I think it's pretty good right where it's at. Now you can see my one string is much shorter than the other, and that's just because this is the one that got taken up in the knot earlier. So I'm just gonna give this a good pinch, and I'm gonna tie these off and screw this in here. Easier said than done. Same thing when you're tightening down these screws. You really want to be careful not to over strip them, because this wood that's in these slides is really not very thick at all. It's very, very thin. So you can easily strip that, and this does have quite a bit of tension to it. So just be careful. Now let's back up and give it a little test. Fix up our spots here. I think we did a pretty good job. So now let's get this window balance back up. And that's that. Now everything's back on, back screwed together, and hopefully you have a better understanding of how these strings work and why it keeps it in place. And if you ever have one break on the road, you know that there's a band-aid to it, and there's a full fix. And like I said, if you need a full fix, you're probably going to want to take a piece of your string into a local blind shop so you can get the right color that matches for your rig and your RV. That's it for this week's video. Thanks again for watching. I appreciate it. Be sure to comment below, hit that subscribe button and the little notification bell. We'll see you next time. Thanks.